at the joint to talk to Ted Reeder,
The goal in life is to have as little as possible.
aka the Godfather of the Grill. We're gonna check out all his smoking ideas and learn a lot more about him. I'm Joe Friday. Welcome to Beyond the Blade. Yo, so we're here with Ted Reeder, the Godfather of the Grill.
Yeah, that's me, all right.
Come check out the joint grill
At Eldorado Golf Club.
Yeah.
So we're a little place, man. We're just 4 years old.
Yeah.
Coming up on our fourth season. Well, we're in our fourth season.
Yeah.
And it's a great little fun little spot.
Yeah. So 4 years. That means you started in the beginning of the pandemic.
As the story goes, the pandemic hit. And as a lot of chefs and restaurateurs and people in the food service and hospitality industry found out that this pandemic moved our cheese. And all of a sudden we're sitting there, we got inventory in restaurants, you've got staff you've got to lay off, you got no income coming in because people are terrified to go out to eat. My friend Doug called me and Doug says, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Nothing. Looking at my four walls, trying to figure out what I'm going to do with my career next." He says, "Well, do you want to open a restaurant?" And I'm like, "No." He's like, "Well, do you want to open a barbecue restaurant?" I'm like, "No." So I drove my butt out here, the 64 kilometers from my house to Eldorado Golf Club, and I fell in love with the place. I think it's a great little golf course. It's 9 holes.
Yeah.
And so we opened 6 weeks later.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't have a clue as to what we were doing. I'd been out of the restaurant game for years. We started in on it. Brisket and burgers. That's what it was. Some ribs, some chicken, and we started. You know what? We went through a hard summer. We worked hard. You know, you had to proof your restaurant so that people wouldn't die.
Yeah.
You weren't allowed to have indoor dining anyhow.
Yeah.
There was a lot of panic. And we worked with open fire. Everything we do here is live fire barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a gas grill. We don't have pellet smokers that we're cooking on. It was our workhorse. It smoked our briskets. It smoked our ribs. It smoked our chicken. It smoked our pork bellies.
Smoking.
Non-stop smoking. When we got here, there was chaos. We didn't have a lot of room.
Yeah.
But we persevered. We put our heads down. You know, it wasn't perfect. It was far from perfect. It was a challenge, you know. I kept going home at night going, why am I doing this? I didn't want to be back in the restaurant business.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing. And I'm not a young guy. At that point I was 57. I'm 60. F***ing old. And
Still doing it.
Still doing it. And I love it. We built a prep kitchen. Well, I really have no idea how to build anything other than food. So my partner, Doug, who's quite thrifty and very talented, he decided that, okay, we'll build you that prep kitchen. So we have a nice prep kitchen in the basement so that we could do what we do here.
Yeah.
Because our main kitchen, our line, is 10 by 10. It's tight. Charcoal grill in there, flat top, couple of deep fryers, a hood system, a dishwasher, and a main line, and you can fit 3 small guys in there, or me. Our third year came, our third season, we laid a concrete slab to expand the patio and make a little bit more room so that we could take our cooking from indoors to outdoors.
Yeah.
And you have good days and you have bad days. We have one rule: don't up. So all you got to do is try not to up. We help our food costs by having our own honey. We've got 4 beehives. My partner Doug looks after the beehives because I'm allergic. And so I do go over and see, but I'll tell you that wildflower honey is pretty good. There's an apple orchard on the property here in Eldorado. And so we take all those apples, usually every other year now. We get 300 liters worth of apple cider.
Yeah.
And we use that apple cider in all of our brining of our chicken and of our pork. We've got chickens. We don't use the eggs. We save those for ourselves. All our wood is from all of Doug's golf courses. And so we get apple wood from our apple orchard. We get cherry wood from the cherry trees at the other golf courses. Ash, birch, beechwood, maple, oak, hickory. And so every year we try and instill that passion of live fire barbecue. A lot of the cooks that come here, whether they're seasoned veterans or they're at a culinary school, I like young and old here. I like a good mix. They've got to learn the art of fire, all right? I'm married to a divorce lawyer.
Yeah.
And fire is like her. It's breathing, it's moving. And when you work with fire, you have to think not just about what the wood fuel source is, whether it's charcoal or the hardwood you're using. You got to think about the weather. Today it's overcast, it's cool, it's damp, there's a little bit of rain, there's a bit of wind. So the more wind, the more smoke you get, the more you go through your fuel, because from there, that's our base recipe to build our briskets or our ribs or our burgers or our chicken, whatever it is. My culinary career, man, it spans 45 years. It started washing dishes, and I became a really good dishwasher, and I'm still a really good dishwasher.
Yeah.
All right? In fact, I've been known to say that I'm a good dishwasher. I had managers that told me, you should never wash dishes. You're the celebrity chef.
Yeah.
I cook for a living. The celebrity chef came long after Ted Reeder learned how to cook.
Yeah.
Ended up as executive chef of a little grocery store chain called Loblaws. And I worked for a guy by the name of Dave Nichol. Helped develop their box meat program back in the early 90s. I've developed hundreds and hundreds of different food products that many people have eaten on their grocery store shelves. Burgers to wings to everything in the meat protein area. I've worked in sauce. I know my food. I love my food.
Yeah.
But I want to teach people. I enjoy that. So I spent a time at Niagara College teaching product innovation in their food innovation program. You know, when you make a recipe and you serve it in your restaurant, maybe a couple hundred people get a chance to eat it.
Yeah.
But when you make a product that goes on the shelves and you sell thousands and thousands and thousands, and you go out there and you make a little bit of money and everybody gets to taste your food, that's pretty inspiring. I've always known what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Since I was a little kid, I wanted to cook.
Yeah.
That was my thing. I wanted to work backstage at a rock concert. I wanted to work for a race car team and travel the world and cook for the drivers because I liked racing. End of 87, 88, and I was bouncing around from restaurant to restaurant to restaurant to restaurant. I think I worked at 30 different restaurants in 1988. I'd go in and work a shift and tell the chef to off because he was an asshole. Working at a restaurant called Rhodes, Young in St. Clair. It was part of the Chrysalis restaurant group. There was a sous chef there. Her name was Renata Young. Renata was my working boss, and she was tough. She was a hard ass, and she pulled me into the walk-in fridge. And when you up and the chef pulls you into the walk-in fridge to have a chat, you know you're in trouble.
100%. That means you up. I've been there twice.
So Renata told me that I was extremely talented and that I could cook anything and that my ego was a problem and that I was an angry young guy and I needed to figure out what I needed to do with my career. I realized I did want to be not just a cook, I wanted to be a chef, and I wanted to do better, and I wanted to learn more. So I put my head down and I went to work. Worked on me and trying to be a better person. And, you know, I think I'm a pretty decent guy.
How did you get that name, Godfather of the Grill?
My manager, Greg Causeway, at the time gave it to me, coined it. I never liked the term King of the Q. I'm just, you know, people give you names and things. Godfather of the Grill is stuck.
Yeah.
Well, I've been cooking for 45 years in my career. I've been cooking over live fire since I was 6 years old with my dad. And for me, you know, barbecue and cooking, they came together. Maybe I am the Godfather of the Grill. I'm just an old fart that loves to barbecue.
So I gotta get in there. Got the logo on top. We get this potato salad though, because this potato salad looks mean. It's creamy. Got a little tanginess to it. All right, here we go.
Smooth.
Say no more. It was delicious. The Godfather of the grill, Ted Reeder, walked us through his career, his life, and all those smoked goodies. Barbecue at its best, at its finest, at its most delicious. Peace!
Unapologetic.